Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday and Happy New Year. Welcome to our first episode of 2022 with our 2022 HAR Chair of the Board, Jennifer Wauhob. Welcome, Jennifer. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you. It's 2022. I'm excited.
I am excited as well. And thank you so much for being here with me this morning. I know it's early and I know it's early in the year and everybody has a lot going on, but we wanted to take some time to chat with you about who you are and your goals for the year and what HAR members should expect in 2022. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, Jennifer, just if you could tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do so our members can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been a realtor now for 11 years. Got my license back in 2010 and joined HAR. I still actively work with buyers and sellers. I'm also a team leader. So I have a team of 7. I really think it's important that the people who are serving are still actively involved in the industry because I know when I take classes and things like that, I love hearing from teachers that are still in the trenches. They know
Mm.
exactly what it's like right now. I think that's always when you get the best information. So I am still a very active realtor and hoping for a good year for me and my team. I got involved with HAR about 7 years ago. I joined the Texas Realtors Leadership Program, and I just did it because, I wanted to kind of learn some leadership skills and I had heard great things about it. And that was the first glimpse I kind of got into all the things that our association does for us. And I really started to learn about HAR and all these advisory groups and things like that I could get involved in and that I could contribute to the things that go on in our association. So kind of started volunteering there and just, one committee led to another committee, led to running for the board of directors. And now here we are. I'm excited to be chair of the board this year and really do some great things.
That's wonderful. And you say decided to run for the board just in passing like it's nothing, but that's a really big role to take on. So, what made you decide to run for the board and subsequently the executive committee?
So when I first got involved, I started serving on some of the advisory groups. I was on YPN, I was on Tree Pack, I did MLS. I'm trying to think of all the ones I served on. And the advisory groups are really where all the legwork is done. That's where we debate and we discuss and we talk about things that should happen. But at the end of the day, the advisory group makes a motion, and that motion always goes to the board of directors for approval. So I was kind of like, well, wait a second. If all the work we're doing is going there, and I'm enjoying my time here, and I like contributing, and I like making a difference here, well, then I could make even more of a difference there because that's really, at the end of the day, where those decisions are made.
Hmm.
So what kind of prompted it, and so just decided to give it a try, throw my hat in the ring. I'm sure members know we have our election every is it July? I feel
Hmm.
like where they run for the board, and we always have a ton of great candidates. There are a lot of different categories you can run in, and so I just thought I'm going to give it a try. If I get
Yeah.
elected, great. If I don't, I'm happy to continue serving on advisory groups and see what happens. So ran for the board and was fortunate enough to get elected. Really enjoyed my time on the board and getting to make those big decisions where all those motions end up coming. And then once you're on the board, you have the opportunity to run for the executive committee, which is our secretary treasurer, our vice chair. It's how you become chair of the board. So it was just kind of a natural progression. I really think if you're focused on the destination, well, I want my face on the magazine, the HAR magazine, or I want the title. You're really doing it for the wrong reasons. For me, it was just where can I contribute? And I started on advisory groups and then thought, oh, well, I could contribute on the board. And then on the board, thought, oh, well, I could contribute on the executive committee. So really, it's about looking where you can be effective and be the most help. And for me, this is just kind of where the journey took me.
I ask this a lot of people who come on this program and are actively involved, but do you feel that being actively involved the way you have been, do you feel like that's benefited your business in the last 7 years?
Absolutely. So you just get exposed to agents. You spend time with other realtors that, you normally wouldn't get to spend time with. We absolutely pick up little tips and tricks for each other when we're chatting before the meetings or maybe at a happy hour somewhere. And then as I've gotten more involved at Texas Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors, I now get a lot of referral business. from agents in other states and agents in other part of the state, because they're going to send business to somebody they know. If you've served on a committee or something before and you've kind of built a rapport with them, when something comes up, they're going to send it your way. So I've gotten 2 within the last week, referrals from other agents outside of the Houston area. It's really turning into a good part of my business too. So that's not why I do it, but it is definitely a benefit.
Wonderful. You mentioned the Texas Realtors Leadership Program, and I just want to mention, because we did post in the comments a link to apply, because TRLP, Texas Realtors Leadership Program, is back for 2022.
I know, so
Jennifer, I would
excited about
imagine
that.
that you recommend that to realtors who haven't been a part of that yet.
Absolutely. And I actually don't know anybody who's been through the program who doesn't recommend it. It is, and you remind me, Chrissy, is this a 6-month program or a 9-month program?
9-month program.
It's a 9-month program. You meet about once a month. By the end, you have just really bonded and become close with your class, your leadership class. Every month is focused on a different aspect of leadership. You learn about working with different personalities. You learn all sorts of things that, even if you have no desire to ever run for the board or anything like that, are things that you can put in place in your own business that are helpful to you. It's a fabulous program. They can only select so many people.
Mm-hmm.
So I would highly encourage you to put your application in, and fingers crossed, hopefully you get selected.
Absolutely. So, Jennifer, after being sworn in, because last month we had our realtor celebration and you were sworn in as chair of the board, after being sworn in, you said, we're not going back, we're moving forward. You made a speech and you made that comment. What does that look like to you? What does moving forward look like to you? And how do you feel that we can all move forward?
Well, it's just been such a tough, kind of transformational couple of years that we have been through. And one of the things I
That's to
keep
say
hearing
the
people
least,
say is,
right?
"Oh, I can't wait till we get back to normal."
Hmm.
I can't wait till things go back to normal. And really, I think we need to there have been benefits, tools and things that have come out of this pandemic that I think are really useful going forward. Now, I don't think we want to stay this way forever where we are right now. But for example, today, you used to host this show in the studio in the HAR building. I am sitting in a hotel room in Dallas. So if you had asked me to join you, I would have had to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't be on today. But because of technology, now we're able to do this. I,
Hmm.
for one, do not love Zoom meetings, but I absolutely can see how effective they can be, where they can, maybe you want to get involved with HAR and you live in Conroe. And one of the things that has prevented you from serving on advisory groups is you're thinking, I don't want to have to drive all the way down to HAR and back. That's going to take 3 hours out of my day to serve on an advisory group. Well, now you can hop on Zoom and take part in that meeting. My sales meetings with my office now have a virtual option, which is not what I want to do all the time, but if I'm traveling and there's something else, it's great that I can still hop on and get that information. So there are things that I think are really useful and beneficial. And I think we need to take kind of the best of what's come out of the last 2 years and then put it together with the best of what we had before. We're realtors. We love to be around people. We work in a relationship business. I think we will all tell you we would much rather get in front of a client face to face than talk to somebody on the internet or via text. So I think going forward is really trying to take the best of both worlds and put them together so that now we can do even better things.
That's a wonderful perspective. Let's talk a little bit about the market. As we all know, there's been a lack of inventory, but despite that, we continue to set new records. What do you expect for the 2022 real estate market?
So, what I am hearing from the articles I'm reading and things like that is that in 2022, everything is going up. Home prices are still going to go up, interest rates are going to go up, rental rates are going to go up. So, I think the big question is, how many sales are we going to see? Because the last 2 years, we have just set records every year. If you had asked me going into the pandemic what business was going to look like, I don't think any of us would have predicted how it has been. So it's really hard to say exactly. But that is one thing I think it's really important for us to educate consumers on the market and on why they don't necessarily need to wait to buy something. Waiting is literally going to cost them more money. Over the course of the last year,
Mm,
I've worked with a lot of buyers who have said, you know what, we're just going to wait for the prices to come back down. And kind of explaining to them, there's really nothing indicating that those prices are going to come back down. This is where they are now, and they might even creep up a little bit more by the end of the year. Ted Jones, who is a former HAR chair and an economist with Stewart title, love listening to his economic forecast every year. I know that's coming up here in a couple weeks. Our YPN group puts that on. I can't wait to hear what his predictions are for this year, because I don't think any of us necessarily know for sure, but I do think it's still going to be a strong year. I don't think prices are necessarily going to come back down at all. I
mm.
think we're not going to see the sharp incline that we've seen over the last 12 months. But I think it's going to be a good year overall.
That's good. That's good news that I'm sure our members love to hear. What challenges do you see within the real estate industry that are happening right now that you think our members should be paying attention to?
I think kind of what I just mentioned is one of them. Consumers not really understanding what the market right now means. And I
Mm,
think they get scared when they hear these media headlines about record home prices and bidding wars and things like that. And so their inclination is just to back off. And I think we need to educate them on what it takes to make a strong offer, how it can benefit them to go ahead and buy a house now as opposed to waiting. Like I just said, I read a study. It said buying the same house in 2021 versus 2022 will cost you $200 more a month
wow.
because of increased home prices and rental interest rates.
Mhm.
So when you put those together, it's going to cost you to wait, and it can actually really benefit you to buy now.
Wow.
I'm going to grab some
Yeah,
water.
absolutely. And I would encourage you guys, if because Jennifer's mentioning these different headlines, pay attention to some of these articles. You all get a free subscription to Inman News, but of
Mhm.
course, the local headlines are important to pay attention to as well. Are there any other periodicals that you encourage our members to take a look at, Jennifer?
I love our HR snapshot that comes out every week. That's great information to share with your clients so they can see what's going on here. Because, like I said, they hear those national headlines and they get intimidated. You need to let them know what's happening in their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. So again, 2022, we're here now. What challenges do you foresee affecting realtors this year?
So, one thing that I don't think a lot of realtors pay attention to is there are some big lawsuits going on.
Mm,
Excuse me. With the NAR and the DOJ, things that really could affect the way that we do business. And I think sometimes realtors get focused on the wrong issues and get riled up over things that don't necessarily have a really big impact on their day-to-day lives. And there are some things going on, big things out there that could. So I would, Inman is a great place to
mhm.
really keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on out there in the national realm, because some of this stuff could really affect us down the line, and it's good to be informed.
Absolutely. Also, I would encourage people to take a look at Bob Hale's newsletter that comes out, his Insights
Yes.
newsletter that comes out every Friday. Of course, it's been the holidays, so it's not been every Friday, but
Mhm.
it will be, I'm sure, going forward. But he does kind of cherry pick, as you're saying, different
Mhm.
topics that affect the real estate industry, and I always find that interesting, and I always learn something. So.
He is really great at that, at
Mhm.
keeping an eye on what's going out there and keeping us informed.
Very good. So I just want to know, Jennifer, what are your goals as chair of the board for 2022? What is it that you want to accomplish?
So I'm really excited about Showing Smart. I hope all of our members saw we've been developing this over the last year and just announced a few weeks ago that it will now be included in your membership fees. So we have this great service. If you are paying for another service somewhere else, excuse me, you can now use this. You can cancel that membership. It has been created by our members. Back to those advisory groups. Our technology advisory group is who
Mm,
came up with this and put this together. So really excited about that. Really excited about, just kind of like I said, taking the best of what has come over the last 2 years and moving forward, being able to offer options to our members, people who want to attend a conference in person. get that interaction, get that networking they can. People who aren't able to can join remotely or join virtually. So I just think it's going to be a great year. We're going to take all this stuff we learned from the last 2 years, put it together, offer more tools, hopefully like Showing Smart for our members, and keep moving on.
That's wonderful. So Jennifer, I don't see any questions for you actually in the comments, just everybody telling you how informative this is and thanking you for your wisdom and your leadership. Is there anything else that you want our members to know this morning?
I just want them to know we are here to work for you. We are here to serve you. If you have ideas like Showing Smart was born out of our members saying, hey, why don't we have our own showing service? Things like that, let us know. We are here to try to make your business better. So don't be shy. Don't be quiet. And I also would love to see as many members as we can getting engaged. Sign up for those advisory groups, come to the HAR events, join the virtual things that we're doing so we can hear from you, because you guys are what make us great.
Absolutely. Well, Jennifer, thank you again for your time. And like you mentioned, I know you're actually on vacation right now, so I truly appreciate you joining.
No
And
problem.
it's funny you mentioned Showing Smart, because next Monday, Taki Risby, our Chief Technology Officer, will be joining me to discuss all things Showing Smart. He was on a few months ago to introduce it, but there have been many enhancements since then, and so he's going to go through all of that with us next Monday at 9 a.m. So we all look forward to that. Set your calendars. Jennifer, thank you again for your time this morning.
Thank you. And happy 2022, everybody.
Happy 2022. Have a great week, everyone. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye.